Today we'll be looking at how FaZe uses the mid-site smoke on Ancient. This is a powerful tool which cuts off a lot of information from the CTs, forcing them to either go for jump spot, boosts, or other aggressive plays to maintain information or just control in the general area. So we'll look at the ways that FaZe uses this smoke in hits, lurks, all that sort of stuff, and also some CT responses. Starting off, we're going to have Brokey with his op. He's going to use this smoke to get up further on the ramp and post on the left side of the pillar. He'll be able to see if anyone walks in or out of cave, and if anyone tries to jiggle or swing on this left side of pillar, that's easy damage or a frag. And as you'll see, the CTs use a smoke to block off this position. Now this next round, he's going to hold for a second, sees that there's not too much, starts walking up. Now, what you'll notice here is that as he starts walking up, TeSeS is about to swing, and his shadow is fully visible. So you actually get like a little bit of early warning when you're walking up the ramp here, whether you have a rifle or whatever. There's just that little lip which the shadow is visible on. Now, the other thing is, you'll see that TeSeS is swinging without a flash. Salazar has a flash out. Why isn't he flashing for him? It's because they have a lot of aggression on the mid side. They're doing some fast cat business, so they were going to use their flash for lane, and while that's happening, TeSeS is throwing a nade and dry swinging on the ramp to see if he can do some damage or get control of that, as typically you're going to find, like, say, a 1v1. And in this instance, he did find a 1v1, but Brokey has an op and wins that fight. Now this round, we're going to see that Robs is throwing the mid-site smoke late because he smoked instant red as well. Brokey is going to try to swing up here, but what you'll see is that, so because TeSeS observed that that smoke is coming down, he is going to he throws a nade ramp, and he's going to just hard swing out and go for this fight, which is pretty good, I would say. You get an opportunity there, especially because there's no flashes coming in. You have a fairly favorable fight as a CT, especially with that nade damage coming in. And as you'll see, he did great damage to Brokey and Kerrigan, and he's going to USB spam Kerrigan down. So there's not much for FaZe to do here now. Moving forward, we have Rain. We'll see he's going to throw the site smoke, and then he'll lurk solo B. FaZe takes mid, I believe, with Red Room and Donut, and Rain's going to Molotov off Cheetah to make sure that they don't get pushed on while they're out mid. Now, after all of this, right, they have aggression in A main and like one playing red, but because typically there's 2B, you have one cave, one site. This guy cave, now that T's have mid, it's even numbers, and he's essentially solo here. He doesn't really gain too much, I would say, by holding on to cave solo, especially because the B site smoke is still up. So he's going to come back here, and he's going to check the side of site for his long player. Meanwhile, while that's happening, the next logical thing for TeSeS to do after they take that mid control is to take control of cave, because they have someone outside of B, as the CTs know, and they have people mid, so they're going to come back, take control of cave. So if you stay cave there as a CT, you're essentially taking like a 1v who knows how many, probably a 1v2 at the least. You're going to go 1 for 1 while you have util. But yeah, so following that, then Rain and Kerrigan are going to come clear out Cheetah, and they will play out their round from there after that. So now getting into the fun stuff, we're going to have a rush utilizing this mid-site smoke. But to go over the framework of it real quick, what FaZe is going to do is they're going to smoke mid-site, smoke cave, and then they're going to have a flash on the left side of site so that they can run up the left side, and they're going to get a Molotov down on the back choke where the CTs rotate through. So Rob smokes mid-site, and now he's going to throw 2 flashes over mid to dissuade any cat aggression. Brokey's going to smoke cave, then he'll flash the left side. We see Kerrigan running up the left. He's going to clear out back pillar and gets very unlucky, which makes this round a lot harder than it would have been otherwise, and they ultimately end up losing the round because of that, and they can't get proper control. Now we're going to look at this rush going well here, and We have Frozen in the bottom right. We'll see how he preps a smoke just in case of Molotov, and then he's going to be the one who throws the Molotov at the back choke there, and they just run up. Because they get the frag, Kerrigan's actually going to charge through the smoke and push all the way over to long where he gets picked off, but this round is already in a lot better of a situation, and they eventually go on to win the round. Now this is the most coordinated one in this video here. It's going to be a pop exec thrown by FaZe. They're going to start out with the mid-side smoke, and Frozen's going to go and throw some mid pressure. Then they're going to all five come back and they're going to set up for their B pop. Now, one thing to note is that the mid-site smoke there, it only lasts about 20 seconds, right? So it usually lands around 146, so it's going to fade around 126. So the T's are actually going to throw their exec towards the late end of it, so they still have cover coming up into the site, but it starts fading as they're getting in there so that they have full control without having to worry about any CTs chilling in the smoke. So what they're going to do is they're going to have 2 flashes and a smoke set up for the first wave, and when everybody is ready here, they're going to throw their 2 site flashes and a smoke long. Then Brokey's going to smoke short, and he'll throw a sight for the a flash for the left side, which would blind anyone who's on the pillar or like short area. And Rops is going to follow up with a flash over long. Now we're going to see Rops throws that flash over long because Kerrigan, he's going to entry up and he's going to go straight through the smoke. And with that flash long, assuming that the flashes were good and TeSeS didn't got blinded earlier, this would have gone a lot smoother. But if the flash hit from Rops and TeSeS wasn't there, Kerrigan would get through onto anyone who was long and win that frag really easily. And then, or whether there was a guy long or not, he would have deep control of long, and they would be able to he would be able to catch someone off guard. Unfortunately for him, TeSeS sees him before he gets blinded. Now for this next round, they're going to fake a default, and they're going to go for a contact up the ramp. So Rops in spawn, he smoked Cheetah. We have Frozen over by elbow. He's throwing the mid smoke again here and putting some pressure down. And so what's really and he also mullet cat. And so what's good about this, so not just the Molotov there too, but because he throws all of that, that's enough aggression mid where it makes it kind of squiffy for the CTs to actually try to work cat here. So it gives a lot more, especially because there's the smoke cheetah, so CTs need to be more conscious of any cat aggression here. And because of that, what you'll see is that Snacks here in cave, because of that, he's going to play forward and he's going to make sure that it's Molotoved and try to like prevent anyone from actually taking control of that. Now then, another response for the CTs in when there's that mid-side smoke is to play in front of it, like how TeSeS is doing here on the right. And the T's are going to wait until the mid-site smoke dissipates, and then they'll start contacting up. Now the thing is, when there's a smoke like that, if a play where it's denying some information, if a CT wants to have information, typically what they'll do is they'll play like an off angle or something along those lines, or boost, whatever. But when they're in an off angle, whether it's in front of the smoke or somewhere else, typically what happens, and you'll see this with actually a lot of smokes, is that when the smoke starts to dissipate, a player will rotate or like move into a different position that might be more comfortable now that that smoke is fading or gone. And playing off of that timing exactly, FaZe is going to be walking up here, and Rops is going to smoke cave. They're going to actually catch TeSeS on his rotate back around to long here through short. And this gives them so much information because they know there was a guy in cave, and we just saw that one guy over at pillar moving back. So this site is incredibly free now. So they take a lot of ground and are virtually free. And one final thing I wanted to note is that Isaac throws a bad retake smoke. The reason why I think it's bad, like you can say he just missed it, but that wall on the side there is really bad for util nowadays, I would say. Like you need to be really precise, and that retake lineup, I think I've seen it messed up a few times by some pros. I just don't think it's good. I'll show a better one, but yeah. I don't recommend bouncing off that wall because it got a lot worse in CS2 for some reason. Something about how it's mapped out. So in this round, we're actually going to see the mid-side smoke used only for pressure, but they're going to go into a 3-2 split towards A here. So they're going to smoke off Donut and Red, and Frozen here running out mid, he's going to throw a smoke off the wall and then Molotov deep mid. Kerrigan's going to Molotov Cubby and flash Frozen out. And with that, they've taken hard control of mid. The other guys are going to start walking A now. And they're going to find a pick over at A main, and after they do this, Rain's going to run forward, get picked off by the op, and that tells the T's mid that Donut is completely clear. They don't need to slow clear it as they probably were going to do before, and they just take this ground, split up really easily. Kerrigan gets some good frags, and that's the round. So in regards to CT options here, CT responses, you have a few. So you can jump spot as a CT. Depending on how the smoke is thrown, you might actually get a gap here. Sometimes depending on variance, like just right there. Alternatively, you can boost. So you can boost over here, back of pillar has to be standing. And you'll be able to see, sometimes you'll be able to see the ramp. Most of the time you'll probably get more of visibility towards this back wall here. Over at long side, you can come up here. Problem with it though is that you might be leaving cave open if you boost there, unless you have 3B. And you can also play like Kios did in front of the smoke here, where he's kind of dipping in and out. But depending on how the smoke lands, sometimes it'll be better than other times. You also have the option of holding here as an opper or something along those lines, assuming you have cave control with someone else. But aside from that, it's going to be pretty much up to util, like smoking off a ramp and so on, or being pillar, flashing behind, and clearing out, that sort of stuff, to actually hold on to control of top ramp and so on. Now for the T side util, you're going to smoke mid side by lining up in these bricks here. Aim this middle brick on the bottom line, take your tap jump throw, also called forward jump throw by some people. It'll land like so. Next smoke is cheetah smoke drops through. Come wedge into this corner here. You're going to look for this brick that sticks out horizontally. You're going to aim at the top right of it, and you're going to jump through. For Rops's cave smoke, you're going to wedge into this corner. You're going to aim above this leaf here, up to near the branch, and you're going to jump through. Now for the smokes from this corner, you have the cave smoke again. You aim like roughly around the center of this square here and jump throw. It blooms pretty much the same as the other Rops smoke there, though it extends less inside the cave. You have this smoke that Brokey throws. You line up on this gap in the leaf and then like onto it a bit and then jump throw. But I don't really like this lineup because that. It's very finicky now in CS2 because this stuff is all weird. So what I would actually suggest over it is you look at the upper right of this most visible square here and you jump throw. And that smoke is going to be perfect. Really easy, really consistent. And then lastly, you have this short smoke from this corner here. Now on to the flashes. We have Rops's flash, which he throws from on the box, lines up somewhere around here like this, and then jump throws. I think that maybe a more preferable way to throw it would be to just come up alongside this box, like in the middle somewhat, and then you can just tap jump throw, like next to the B on the sign. That's going to accomplish basically the same stuff, and it's faster to get into. As it's like a fairly general flash, you don't need to worry about being too precise. And then we have from this corner here, Brokey would throw his flash, something like that, walk forward a bit and jump throw, and that's going to flash the left side of pillar, and anyone short. And then when Rops is throwing this flash, he'll come and push off the box to flash long for Kerrigan, right? If you keep your crosshair level with this stone, and then left click throw, that's going to go over long. But if you don't, then it's going to get stuck or like bounce like that, like whatever happened with Rops's. And so for Frozen's Flash, you're going to come up alongside this door, and like once this spur is like out of vision, and then you're going to left click on this leaf over here, and it's going to land like so. I think though it might be fine to just double click jump throw a flash or something along those lines, because when you're throwing this, I think probably the main benefit is that if there's a guy here, he's going to be blind for longer. If you double click jump through that flash, he's going to be blind maybe a second less or so. So there is merit to using it, especially because like this peak is very dangerous, but yeah. Now real quick for the mid side of things, we're going to see Frozen likes to bank his smoke off the wall like this, and it's going to fully bloom and cover any Molotovs that are here. And while he throws that, he'll also go for a nade here, or in the case of the A-split, he'll jump throw just kind of jank, something like that. And that Molotov's going to go deep into the middle of mid. For Kerrigan's Molotov, you just come along the backside here, and there's going to be kind of like, you see like down from this plank, there's this gap in the stones here. You're going to aim out into mid here, and he walk throws it. But I think it's actually better that you run through it a bit, so that it can actually... Oh gosh, that did not go well. If you run through it and it has a good bounce, it's going to cover more into this corner. That actually wasn't a bad spread. But, yeah, so after you do that, you can just... He throws this flash, and that's what they take mid with. As we see, this one did not fully spread. It looked like it, though. And so lastly, I wanted to go over that retake smoke real quick. It's supposed to go something, well, it's supposed to go something like this. But as you can see, it's not that hard to mess it up here. So what I found to be better, generally speaking, is you look at this big white stone here, and you come down a crack, and then come down another crack to the side here, and then you're going to double click jump throw. And this is going to bounce off this stone, hugs it really close to the wall, so the T's have less room to like swing out and be like and have cover, and it lands quickly, efficiently, all of that stuff. The only problem with it compared to like say another smoke is that it might be a bit easier, or it is a bit easier for T's to potentially block it. So another option which doesn't land as nicely but is still really easy to throw is you look at this white stone again, but you kind of come up to this dark mark, pretty easy to remember, and you're going to double click jump throw again. And this is, I think it's a bit less likely to get blocked because it lands faster and so on, but it does bloom out further to the side, and so, I mean, actually that's not too bad, but yeah. So those are two options that might be preferable. And that'll do it. Thank you.